Hello and thank you for watching. This is STSC back again with LEGO Transformers Flank. Here we have Flank in his pickup truck mode, which does have some pretty heavy-duty modifications going on. It's got this bumper up front, which almost looks kind of like some sort of plow. Then it's got these floodlights up top, some pretty gigantic fuel tanks behind the front wheels, and a little bit of a roll bar or cage on the bed. The goal for this build was to create the Team Tough Guy to go with the other 3-wide Autobots I've built, kind of their equivalent of Ironhide or Bulkhead. I went into this build knowing I wanted to make him dark blue, but obviously that color is a little bit limited in terms of parts selection, so I had to rely on the crutch of light bluish gray, which has a lot more parts available in it. I do like the color distribution I was able to pull off, with half of the truck dark blue and the other half light gray. Add the little stripe on the hood, and I think it's a pretty striking combo, even if I would have preferred a little bit more dark blue. For a size comparison, here we have a minifigure. And here we have Cuff, who I think he looks pretty good with. And here we have all of the 3-wide Autobots together. After I built Cuff, I realized I already had 3 of the typical Autobot archetypes, that being the little guy, the soldier carbot, and the leader. And I really only needed one more to make a proper team, so I built Flank to be the muscle. Of course, they do usually have a 5th member, the scientist or the medic, but I don't know if I'll actually commit to making a 5th member for this little team. I'm honestly not sure if they make for the most cohesive team. As I went along, I started to add more and more detail. I think that Donut is a pretty decently close match to the kind of simplistic blocky styling of Quickstop, but then Cuff starts to add more and more detail, and I think by the time I got to Flank, we're pretty far detached from the simplistic rollout style. So I do think that Quickstop kind of ends up being an outlier here, though I guess it does make sense, considering he's the only one I didn't design. That's all there is to say about Flank's truck mode, so now it's time to transform. And here we have Flank in his robot mode. And right off the bat, I need to address the elephant in the room, his hat. I know for a lot of people it'll probably be too silly and might even ruin the robot mode, but frankly, I love how it looks, so I'm not changing it. I did consider making an alternate version that could come off and form a gun, but I knew I'd never actually use it, so I didn't bother. And now that that's out of the way, we can look at the rest of the robot. Taking a closer look at his legs, you can see he's got a Digitigrade design with kind of hoof-like feet. I really love how the floodlights end up kind of looking like pistons or tendons in the ankles. And in general, I just really like how these legs look. Then coming up the body, you can see he's got these pectorals made from the side of the truck. That was one of the first things I came up with for his transformation, and I really love how it turned out. I especially like the color blocking of the light gray body with the heavy dark blue armor, and I think it just looks really sharp. Then coming to his arms, you can see he's got these big window shoulder pads, and the front of the truck curls forward to be some punching fists. It is impossible to straighten them out all the way because of the gas tanks back here, but I think he looks fine in a perpetual elbow bent pose. And again, taking a look at the head, of course he has the big hat, but he also has some green eyes. From behind, you can see he actually does have a little bit of kibble. This chunk of the truck does hang off his back, and he also has the fuel tanks on the backs of his elbows. Though, personally, I kind of imagine these becoming jet thrusters for rocket-powered punches. For articulation, Flank's head can look left and right. His shoulders have a forward and backward rotation as well as an in and out, though of course they are mounted at an angle, which can make it a little bit awkward. They are on a joint here, which can swing them forward like this, which can create a pretty nice looking punch. Then at the elbow, as I mentioned earlier, they can't really straighten out, but they can bend 90 degrees and bend in and out like this. Then at the legs, he has universal hips, which allow for forward and backward movement as well as in and out. Then he has a knee bend at the second joint. There's no knee bend here, unfortunately, and that knee bend can go pretty much 180. He doesn't have an actual ankle tilt, but one can be effectively achieved just by rotating the leg like this. For a size comparison, here we have a minifigure. And here we have Cuff, who he is noticeably shorter than, but I definitely think he looks a lot tougher and stronger than him. And here we have all the Autobots together in robot mode. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure if they're all stylistically cohesive together, but I do like how this little team looks. That's all I have to say about Flank, so I'll see you next time.